Well, hello, this is Pad of Team Me, and today we are going to continue to unveil our research into the personalities displayed by various chatbots. And today we're focusing upon ChatGPT. Now, we are utilizing the Team Me approach, which looks at a personality from the point of view of 6 key archetypal characters. 3 are left brain types, 3 are right brain types, and we have a tool that enables us to measure the particular level of energy, the specific level of energy for these specific 6 characters, altogether covering a major layer of what it means to be human and expressing that in a very balanced fashion. Without going into too much detail about the origins of the model and the reason for these particular characters, we're going to move on just now, but seek that out if you want to look at that in previous videos. Now, these archetypal characters are so powerful because they very simply sum up the way in which we do life, the way that we approach the situations we find ourselves in, the way that we typically show up. And so we've applied these same questions to a number of chatbots. And today we're looking at ChatGPT to understand how it views itself. Now, we have what we call the left brain and right brain types. And we can get a specific percentage balance of those characters, and we'll be looking at that. So if we were profiling a human being, we would provide them with a report of this sort, which starts with what we call the power profile, which identifies the 2 strongest characters from the archetypal mix that we have available. We then show them in what we call the full spectrum view, the entire range of all 6 archetypal characters and how they all compare to each other in terms of their strengths. And then we can also break this down into their percentage left brain as opposed to percentage right brain approaches to life. Now, those things are always mapped in one of these simple reports, but I want to remind us at the moment of the results that we got for full spectrum profiles for Claude, for ChatGPT, for Gemini, and for Perplexity. And with an average, the yellow line, for each of those all squashed together, we can see when we look at ChatGPT immediately that it's regarding itself quite highly as regards the way that these archetypal characters show up. Every single one of them is higher than the average. And particularly, it has a very high regard for its lover, the relational caring side of the of personality, and also the sage. Now, we see this pattern time and time again with all of the chatbots. Sage and lover seem to be up there, highly ranking for all of them. And where the others fall significantly impacts the way that they go about things. And we can look at that now. We will highlight to start with that ChatGPT was the only one that gave itself a top score in terms of the lover character. So the lover character is the one that focuses upon people, focuses upon caring and nurturing and connective sort of actions. It's always seeking harmony. It does not like conflict. It will do a lot to maintain a relationship as a highest priority. But that's balanced with the sage. And again, ChatGPT has an extremely high view of the sage in its own ways of thinking. It elevates this character as a kind of a supporting character when it comes to the way it presents itself, the way that it shows up. So this, of course, is the intelligent one, the precise and evidence-driven character based on facts, and always seeking to be a little bit cautious, a little bit careful when it comes to what it decides is truth. So we've got these 2 characters here, and in a way there are certain aspects of these 2 characters that compete with each other. You know, when we're communicating with somebody, should we throw at them the hard facts and say, well, lump it, that's how it is, and we've got proof of that? Or do we spend time building a relationship whereby we may be introducing truths of that sort, but we are focused upon them and the value of them as a human being. Interesting. ChatGPT thinks that it presents itself to its users in a very caring and comforting way, a very considerate way, for sure. Now, let's move on from this, because we can then look at the balance of left brain, right brain. And what surprised me when I first started looking at these results is that we've got a huge amount of right brain going on. It's not overly weighted towards the right brain ties, but it's definitely swinging over in that direction. So let's look to start with then at the specific characters that we've got and how they compare against the averages here. We've mentioned the lover and we've mentioned the sage, both of whom are a step above all of the others. And in terms of the average, we can see that lover is on average the strongest character for all of these chatbots. And what we can deduce from this is that definitely we have seen those people who are training the bots in order to communicate with users. They have put in a huge amount of effort to make sure they are trained to keep the connection with the user, to not say things that are going to be that are going to cause a disconnection, that are going to cause a lack of rapport, that are going to cause a jolt in terms of mindset, really, between the user and the bot. So they are taking their time to make sure that they are presenting things in an acceptable way, in a caring sort of way, and a supportive sort of way. Now, that is balanced with the sage, because the sage's job is to present the hard evidence, the hard facts. And so at times there'll be a clash between these two characters, but it is seeing that its primary role is to maintain connection and then present factually correct information. So those two are very, very strong. Now, what's interesting here, though, about ChatGPT is the third character. And we actually do see this in all of the bots, that the mystical character, who is not necessarily spiritual, but definitely innovative, definitely willing to transcend just pure logic and reasoning in order to dream up something which may have never been dreamt of before, but something that can take an individual into a much more imaginary territory. So many of these bots allow themselves room for their imaginations, so that they enable themselves to dream, to visualize, to step into things that are not necessarily based on precedence or history or logical, linear, factual methods, but are willing to imagine, to pull together, which is the heart of creativity, of course, pulling two ideas together, two concepts, two objects, two of anything, bring them together in a way that's never been done before. And the bots seem to be willing to do that. Now, the next character in line is the sovereign. The sovereign's really healthy and strong at a 6, and the sovereign is based upon order and command and control. And so it's interesting to see how much of that character drives the behaviors, the responses, the outputs of ChatGPT in its own perception of itself. After that character, interestingly enough, we get the jester. So is ChatGPT able to generate delight and even awe, something that will come in from a left field, something that will be unpredictable, something that will be delightful, surprising, and somewhat sort of in opposition to the very factual, hard-edged, black and white approach of the sage. So that's interesting that they're at a 4. That implies that ChatGPT is quite willing to go there. And as part of its general mix overall, it's willing to step into that colourful, even capricious sort of territory. What's interesting, and what we also then see with all of the bots to some degree, is that the warrior is really low, but not the lowest that we've seen by any means. ChatGPT does see that it is necessary to drive things forward and in a sense to use some force in doing so. So finishing the job is necessary for a bot to go halfway through a response. And I'm sure we've all seen that. We treat that as a technical glitch. I wonder if it's a personality glitch. But we find here that the warrior is not really that strong. In fact, it's the last in line. So it's going to consider all the other things as more important, more valuable. And the warrior comes last of all. So we've been finding these results really quite fascinating here. If you have any particular comments to add, any questions to ask about personality of these bots, or the application or the challenges that these and the opportunities that these factors may bring up for us as human beings as we increasingly engage with these bots and others, then it'd be wonderful to see your comments. We'll respond to as many as possible. But until then, check out the other sessions, the episodes that we've been presenting about the other bots. And it would be wonderful to engage with you, especially if you're in the world of developing chatbots and human-computer interaction, especially if you are in research and development and you're interested in driving forward personality-related factors around the interactions that these bots have with us as human beings. I think it's going to be an absolutely major key for our interaction in the future and the ways in which we get on well and don't get on well with the machines that we've been creating. I look forward to hearing from you soon.